Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. We here at UUFNN are growing, not just in numbers, but in our faith that by being and working together, we can bring about justice and build a compassionate community. It is a joy to see each of you this Sunday, whether in person or virtually, as we connect for a time of reflection and introspection. We welcome all to be part of us, regardless of racial identity, ethnic background, age, economic circumstances, educational achievement, judicial history, immigration status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. UUFNN is about compassion and support, not judgment. I'm Bill Miller. Personal pronouns, he, him, his. Personal passions, climate change, and social justice. It is my pleasure to serve as your worship associate this morning for The Heart of the Matter service led by Reverend Karen Foster. Today's service is a multi-platform event combining in-person and online, coming to you live from the UUFNN Great Room. If this is your first time visiting, welcome. We're glad to have you join us. If you're online, feel free to connect to the office or our website for more information. You can also click on the link to the chat box to fill out the newcomer form and sign up for our newsletter that will keep you informed of all the activities, and there are many, here at UUFNN. If you're here in person, please see one of us to help get you to someone who can give you that information. Also, for those of you meeting on Zoom, please note that you can update your name on screen, which helps everyone know who you are. Note that you will remain muted during the service, but you can use the chat box for comments, especially during the prayer and meditation sessions. As a courtesy, please refrain from posting announcements while folks are presenting. Following the service, I invite you to join us for Coffee Hour, where we break into small groups to visit virtually face-to-face. Thank you for being with us this morning.
I've been watching the wind swirling around outside, and I've been thinking of that as such a metaphor for the Spirit stirring things up, or however you think of it, as our Mother Earth stirring things up, getting ready for a reset, a new beginning, some change. And I'm excited about that. And so today, I want to think about this service as preparation for a new beginning, preparation for a day that is to come, preparation for doing things a little bit differently. And so it's a good day to think about our covenants in community, the intentions that we set for how we will be together. So you're invited to come fully heart, mind, and spirit as we set our intentions and our hearts in covenant. I invite you to access your chalice that you have nearby, and I'm going to invite David Shirey to light our chalice for us here in the great room as I offer these chalice lighting words by Christine Robinson. We gather this morning as a people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs, and we light this beacon of hope, sign and symbol of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life that we share together. Now let us sing.
Now let us sing. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within.
This morning's reading is from Reverend Teresa I. Soto. Even though they are edible, someone decided that dandelions are weeds, stragglers to destroy, to uproot. But dandelions never got the memo, never thought to care. Busy instead with dropping roots, flinging seeds, unfurling shoots, and persistent in digging in that taproot, the depth of 2 or 3 average adults, end to end. The tiny yellow flower survives. You are no less resilient, reaching both down to the strength that holds you and up to the light, out with your beauty. And you know, having sunk your effort into the cool, damp earth, while the dandelions can be clipped and fought, uninterested in anyone's opinion, they throw their sparkling futures into the wind, tomorrow, tucked into seeds, and grow all the way back, strong and bowing, at the very same time.
We find ourselves in one of the holiest times in the Jewish calendar. These 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are the days of awe. I have long loved and found meaning in the days of awe. The time when we're invited to examine our relational world, the state of our relationships, and if there are any ruptures or misunderstandings that need to be healed. Our Jewish loved ones hold the intention that during the 10 days when the book of life is open, this is a time to recommit to one another, to offer healing where there has been injury. It has always made so much sense to me that the Jewish New Year comes first. A new beginning is made. A celebration of the chance to start over, and then after that, to focus on relationships and right relationship and making things right and recommitting with one another after the new beginning has begun. So let me begin. Our COVID time has been so difficult, and as your minister, although I have been working hard, I know that there are times when I fell short. Times when I didn't prioritize something that was important to you I didn't get back to you quickly enough. I missed the point, got it wrong somehow. And let me say to each and all this morning, for any injury I may have caused you or any other person, I am truly sorry. And if you are willing, I would invite you to participate in this same ritual. You can think of this as your homework for today. I invite you to reflect and offer this to family, neighbors, UUFNNers. If I have caused injury to you or anyone else, I am truly sorry. It never hurts to take the opportunity to begin anew, to make the intention and commitment toward right relationship. Practices like these can help us build that dandelion resilience. It's what it looks like and feels like and means for us to live in covenant with each other.
This is the time in our service when we have the opportunity to share our bounty with each other, which is a polite euphemism for money. It is through your generosity and dedication that we here at UUFNN are self-sufficient, which is a remarkable achievement these days. By each of us stepping forward and offering what we can, we provide support for all that we do for each other and for the wider community. Please share what bounty you can today by texting 73256. That's 73256. Type UUFNN in the message box and hit send. You can also mail a check to the office at 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno, 89511. Or if you want to simplify the process, you can sign up for automatic giving. Contact Carol at the office for the authorization form. We're also sharing the plate today with Great Basin Outdoor School, a visionary organization that empowers Nevada's youth to explore and achieve through hands-on scientific discovery in STEM education in the outdoor classroom. Now, let the offering begin, and thank you all for taking care of our beloved community. Please join me. Please join me as we bless these offerings. To the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings.
Covenant can be thought of as the silk that joins Unitarian Universalist congregations and communities and individuals together in a web of interconnection. The practice of promising to walk together is the precious core of our creedless faith. You see, covenant is both a noun and a verb. It can be a written agreement among individual community members promising to behave in certain ways. And it can mean to engage in mutual promises with self, with spirit, with other people, and communities. In 1894, at the Unitarian Church of Evanston, Illinois, they adopted this covenant written by its minister, Reverend James Viola Blake. This covenant is found in our gray hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition, as number 473. It's the one that we used to say every Sunday for years and years, until some new renegade minister wanted to spice things up by having different words every Sunday that fit the service. But you know it. You know the one we used to use. Say it with me. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. In those years when we used to say it Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, I thought of it as a covenant of sorts, even though it was never officially ratified and voted on by the entire congregation. I think that many of you thought of it as that way sometimes too. We are a covenantal faith and not a creedal one, meaning that we don't have a series of beliefs that we expect everyone to adopt and subscribe to. And we're certainly not a dogmatic faith. We are relational above all else. We care very much how we live out our relationships. Our choice to organize around covenants, we might think of them as promises or commitments, is our greatest strength. But we might reflect on these questions. What does beloved community feel like in practice? Hold that thought. How do we want our members Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. How about now? Ooh. Yeah, that's working. Okay. So we might reflect on these questions when we think about our covenants together. What does beloved community feel like in practice? How do we want our members and friends and visitors to feel when they encounter our community? How do we live our UU values starting with one another? What do we need to promise one another in order to create the community that we dream of? You know, we began the process of creating a congregational covenant going back a couple of years ago, and that process was interrupted by COVID. We never got to ratify it as a congregation. And we'll continue that work together until we have a congregational covenant that we can all be proud of, that defines who we want to be together. And even though we don't have a specific spelled out covenant, there are still ways that we want to honor together the way that we are relationally. The way that we are relationally is really paramount to who we are. And this aspect of who we are needs to be uppermost in our minds as we begin to come back together inside next Sunday. Coming back inside is a huge deal. It's not something that has been taken lightly at all. Hours and hours of discussion, ad nauseum, struggled, task forces, thought, conversation, reflection. It's joy-filled with some excitement and some anxiety. A task force of our board has spent countless hours researching, discussing, soul-searching, and our guidelines have been approved unanimously by our board of directors. And I have to tell you, this is one of the hardest decisions that I've participated in my 25 years of ministry, because our greatest desire is to keep you safe. And yet we know that we as humans are hardwired for connection. And it's so important for our communal and mental health to be in connection. And we've provided many platforms and many ways to do that, and we'll continue to do that. So what does the nitty-gritty of living in covenant look like for such a time as this? I want to share with you a few ways of how that's going to play out and how we're going to ask you to be in covenant with one another, in covenant with your spiritual community at UUFNN. This right here is where the rubber meets the road in terms of covenant. And so I want to share with you how things are going to look next Sunday and hopefully many Sundays after that. The chairs in our great room are already arranged with 3 feet of distance. And to keep that distance, we're going to ask you to keep 2 chairs in between each household. And to make that easy, we're going to arm you when you come in with some signs so that you will choose your seats, and then next to you, you'll put on the next 2 chairs a sign that is something like this: love thy neighbor, just not too closely. Please choose another chair. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Please choose another chair. So if you see one of these on a chair, you'll know that it's a little too close for what we're trying to do with our distancing. This distancing means that we can take reservations for the worship leadership team plus about another 65 persons. And so we ask your patience if not everyone can be in person every Sunday as we roll this out. We will honor a wait list so that those who not to get to attend in person one Sunday may attend the next. Info will be coming out in emails this next week to begin that process of how to make a reservation for next Sunday. We're going to ask that only 2 folks at a time in restrooms. We're going to ask that there not be congregating indoors, and that our conversations take place out of doors before and after service. We're going to ask that we minimize direct contact, no hugging. You can have an elbow bump or an air hug or a bow. We won't have congregational singing initially. We won't have a choir initially. We hope to roll that out as soon as we reasonably can, but as you know, singing is very risky for spread. And so we'll have music leaders providing music much as we've been doing on Zoom, and we'll invite you to sing along in your hearts. And finally, the very most important thing that we can do. 2 things, actually. You're invited and encouraged to join our services on Zoom if you're not vaccinated. We're going to anticipate that those who make the choice to attend in person will be vaccinated. And the very most important thing that we can do is to wear a well-fitted, properly worn mask. And so we'll call on the wisdom of our canine friends to help us remember what it looks like to wear a mask properly. It's important that to live into covenant, the above parameters that we've worked so hard to devise to keep you safe are kept in place. And we're going to ask that you help us by policing yourselves and each other. We ask that leadership not be put in the position of reminding and policing. That's not the best of living in covenant. And so we want to respond with compassion. We can be gentle with each other. We can take responsibility for ourselves and for our actions. It's the responsibility of everyone to create a community of trust where everyone can feel as safe as possible. That's really what covenant is all about, is creating a community of trust. We're making an important first step next weekend. The service is going to be a little different than you might imagine because we're all going to begin outdoors next Sunday at 10:30 on the north patio. And then a little later in the service, some will cross the threshold and come indoors. And in doing that, we will celebrate a new beginning indoors. We'll celebrate those outdoors, and we'll celebrate those who continue on Zoom. All of these are very valuable parts of the ways that we bring our community together. Let's have this be a moment where we really live into our covenant together. And we do this really well in beloved communities so that we can move forward. From my heart to yours, I come to this place with great joy and excitement, and also with some anxiety. So let's reduce the anxiety by being heads up and diligently living into the best of covenant together, taking care of each other and our community and ourselves. This is the heart of the matter. And so we go forward in love.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are living sanctuary anew.
And so we join our hearts and our spirits and our minds in an embodied way during our time of community prayer and meditation. Ground of our being, spirit of life and love, how grateful we are for the message of the wind that swirls around us, calling us to shake things up, to look anew at possibility, to begin again with ourselves and each other. We give thanks for the markers along the way that remind us to be our best selves. We give thanks for the opportunity to say, I'm sorry where I have disappointed you. Let's begin again. We bring today joys, dreams, hopes, heartbreaks, sorrows, difficulties. And we share them all as one community. And you're invited in these moments of prayer and meditation to record those in the chat so that we can hold them as one all together. And so we gather all of our joys, our concerns, our worries, our fears, our celebrations, so that none are held alone. And we bring them and we hold them together in the heart of love, making our gesture one to another, one hand on the heart, one hand extended outward as a way of saying to each other, I see you, I hear you. We are all in this together as one. Amen.
Make us aware we are sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are sanctuary, each made holy, loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are living sanctuary anew.
I want to thank you so much for joining us for today's service as we prepare for the days that are to come. A few announcements about exciting things that are upcoming, but before I get to that, I want to extend from our congregation a hearty congratulations to Jane Dunn, who has been awarded the PBS Spotlight Award in just the last evening. And so we have gratitude for Jane, we honor Jane, we celebrate with Jane this very well-deserved award. Next weekend, we're going to be celebrating our Gathering Anew weekend. And on Saturday, we're going to have an event outdoors here on the campus for conversation and intentional connection. There will be opportunities for informal social conversations, and there will be opportunities for structured conversations, and you will be able to choose that which serves your needs in that moment. On campus, at the back of the education building next Saturday for 2 to 3:30, please come, as this is a celebration of our regathering and enjoying some time being on campus together. And if you're signed up for the auction barbecue event that will follow that event, you can just simply stay for that opportunity if you're one of those participants at 4 o'clock. And at that event on Saturday from 2 to 3:30, we're going to collect some items needed by our Reno posse, led very ably and passionately by Jane Dunn. And you can bring granola bars, juice pouches, and blankets, and we'll collect those at that event on Saturday. And then on Sunday, as I mentioned, we will be having our first Sunday of beginning to come back indoors on Sunday morning, and you'll be receiving an email this week for how to make a reservation. We'll be beginning our service on the back patio, as I mentioned, and then some of the folks will come in about midway through the service for the remainder of the service. You be sure and pay attention to your emails for information on that. And I have some information on, we have a full plate of exciting, meaningful programs coming up this fall. And I want to turn to Grace Moore for our first announcement for that.
Good morning. So my name's Grace Moore, and many of you probably know me from my long time work with small group ministry work. So this year, we're starting off with registration for this year's program. It's going to be called Gather in Love. I want to encourage everybody to use this group as a way to deepen your individual connection to people, as well as your group connection to the whole community. These monthly groups will make space for us to go deeper with each other as individuals in a community, and they're meant to provide connection and sacred space. Together, we will explore what it means to be Unitarian Universalists in this very complicated and complex world right now, building our inner resilience, our strength, and our ability to support one another as we live lives of meaning and do this important work. So this year, our theme, like I said, is Gather in Love, and it is based on the work of Valerie Kaur, who did a wonderful book called See No Stranger. She is a well, I always thought it was pronounced sick, but it's actually, or Sikh, but it's actually pronounced sick. So she's a Sikh woman, and she's done some amazingly wonderful social justice work that really is so heart involved. I really encourage you to read the book and join our groups for discussion. The book is not a prerequisite. It's going to be independent of the book, but join the groups. Gather in Love groups will meet once a month from October to May. And you'll remain in the same group the whole time, and so that you can develop deeper relationships with each of the people in the group. And each group will be led by a facilitator, and it'll be a very simple outline that the groups will be followed. And then registration is starting right now, and it is required to register to be in the group. So the link to how to register is going to be in the chat box. So everybody join. Small group ministries rock. Thanks.
While we're speaking of these programs, there's a message in your chat which you can go and sign up right now if you choose to do that. I wanted to make you aware, week after next, beginning September 29th, we start an important gathering on our ongoing learning and unlearning of racism. And we'll be looking at My Grandmother's Hands, the book, for that gathering. And after the 29th, that group will meet on first and third Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. And then we're going to have 2 lunchtime briefer gatherings this fall. I'll be leading one on first and third Wednesdays, and we will come together and participate in going deeper spiritually, setting an intention for ourselves in that regard, and then coming together for encouragement and support of one another. And that's going to be on first and third Wednesdays from 12:15 to 1 p.m., and it's going to start in the 3rd week of October. And then Kristen will be leading one on 2nd and 4th Tuesdays from 12:15 to 1 on refueling, just to refuel on creativity, empathy, resilience, and more. All of the information about these programs are in your emails. You can sign up. We encourage you to take advantage of these many opportunities for connection. And as of right now, the programming opportunities are on Zoom, and we'll continue to reevaluate that opportunity as we go forward. I wanted to also let you know, for the folks on Zoom, that our president of the board, Chris Hyland, will be available for a special conversation group. If there's anything you would like to express to our board of directors at this point, appreciation, gratitude, concerns, questions, you can let the hosts know, and they will make sure and put you in a group with Chris Hyland. I think that is everything for right now. I'm relearning how to do this, not sitting at my desk, as we've been doing for a year and a half. I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and for committing in covenant in community all of the ways that we will be looking to be together and expand our connections as things unfold in the coming weeks and months. Please do stay on for coffee hour for small group conversations. The heart of the matter really is love at its very foundation. So here we have Emma's Revolution with this love, because we're all in this together.
see me through when the world is harsh? Can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. I stood up for you, knowing I might never have the chance to show my heart in ways that others learn to take for granted. And now I am asking you, will you be with me? Will you see me through when the world is harsh? Can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. For this you don't understand. You ask why I feel so strongly about holding up this love in front of everyone around me, because I am asking you, will you be with me? Will you see me through when the world is harsh? Can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. For this every day we're beaten up or killed for simply showing that we've reached inside ourselves and found the deepest love we've ever known. Can we depend on you? Will you be with me? Will you see me through when the world is harsh? Can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. Will you be with me? Will you see me through when the world is harsh? Can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. For this for this
The heart of the matter really is love. And beloveds, you are a spark of love in our universe. And so we gather all of our sparks together in connection. And it is from that place that our covenants grow and our commitments grow and our relationships grow. May we allow those sparks to connect and become an ever brighter light for our community and the work of justice beyond. May you be blessed, and may you know beyond the shadow of a doubt how loved you are. Blessed be, amen, and namaste.